I'm Megan Mitchell. This is my co-host, Jon Morrison, and you are listening to the True North Racing Podcast.
Time to strap in, pull those belts, and get ready for an action-packed episode of the True North Racing Podcast. Are you ready to unmask? Unhelmet your favorite racers? Get ready for the most fun you'll have outside the racetrack to get you ready for the next race. You're listening to Jon Morrison and Megan Mitchell, and this is the True North Racing Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of the True North Racing Podcast, presented by Driving with Hailey. I'm your host, Jon Morrison. Joining me, I would say as always, but we've missed you the past few weeks. Yeah. Megan Mitchell is back. Megan, how the hell have you been?
Not bad. You know, I had a rough patch there, but I'm good now. So,
what have you been up to? How's your season been going since we last chatted with you on the show? If you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to. I'm just letting you know.
It's tough. It's not like it's horrible. Like, it's not like I'm like mechanically, just like it's been a lot to overcome and get back into it. Harder than I thought it would be, but I think we are kind of moving now. So
on Saturday
it took 16 nights, but we're doing it now.
Well, I mean, last night you actually, from what I heard, because I'm upset that I didn't get a chance to come down and talk to you. Mm-hmm. But I also have to remember this is my third trip back to Flamborough all year, and most of the drivers we work with are based out of Flamborough. So you guys haven't really had the chance to see me like you normally do, and like we always come down. Like the past few seasons, always come down. We've always hung out at the end of the night. We've always made our way at some point down to you guys to say, hey, how have you been? Yesterday was not the damn case, though.
You had a busy day yesterday, though.
Yes, it was busy, but it was long. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're just going to get right into this. We're into our Peps Pro Painting opening segment. We got to thank Peps Pro Painting for bringing us this segment of the show. I kind of screwed up at the beginning. This is our second take of doing the intro because I messed up the first one. Which you guys will not hear. That is already on B-roll film. It has already been garbage, so don't worry. But last night at Flamborough, I was there for my third time of the year. I overheard Jacqueline told me, because I know she went down and talked to you guys and she's seen you guys. You decided to stop starting scratch and started your position. Mm-hmm. How did that feel for you in your feature races last night, knowing you were going to start in your position and start racing again? Like, not obviously continue racing, but probably from a better starting position than you were.
Yeah.
How did that go for you?
It was nerve-wracking. On the way to the track, I told everybody, do not let me back out of this. Like,
I wish you told me.
Don't let me do it. And like, everyone kept my word, and they were not letting me back out of it. Like, I tried so hard to chicken out of it until my grandpa came and talked to me about it, and I thought the man was going to cry, telling me that he wanted to see me do it. And I'm like, now I have to do it for him. So
yep.
It was a lot. It's been a long time since I did that. I guess the first one I started 12th out of 21 cars. So I'm like, wow, like that's a lot for me. So, but I mean, it went well, I think. Like, I had a lot of fast guys behind me, and luckily I was on the high side, and that's what Denise Wallace told me. She's like, just if you have to, because like I'm not as fast as them, and I'm not about to try to hold them off, because that's not cool. So she told me, like, just kind of go high and let them, like, still race, but let them go. So it's like I think there's like 3 fast guys behind me. I let them go, and I just kind of followed, and I knew it was going to happen, but I'm like, wow, that was easy. Like, I'm mad that it took me this long to just get over that, but I put in a lot of work the past 3 weeks with my mental health, so that helped a lot.
Good. That's what we like to hear. Um, yeah, it was great to see that. And again, because of how crazy last night was, I didn't get to really watch a lot of the racing.
Mhm.
Uh, and but it was really nice to see and hear that you were going to start in your position. You finished 13th in both,
Mhm.
so that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Uh, it's improvement, right? And
exactly.
you only went a lap down, like what, 2, 3 laps before the checker,
Yeah, it's like it
like
wasn't too
right
long.
near the end.
Yeah. It's like I was hoping I wouldn't, but it's
Yeah.
like I've also recognized that like these cars are getting much faster. Like I still have a lot of improvement to make, so I couldn't really expect it. And also it was a cooler night and a cooler track is faster cars. So
Yep.
it was bound to happen, but I'm like, it was still overall big improvement for me. And the
Absolutely.
support that I got from like even people I never thought I would have got support from is like felt good.
Now I do have a question. Did you get a congratulations by the man from the shirt that I'm currently wearing? No, no.
No.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I feel like an asshole. Um, where's my magic beat button? Uh, well, because we didn't record last weekend because, of course, it being the long weekend and Sunset Speedway was running on the Sunday. There was no way I was gonna make that work, and I wasn't gonna waste my Monday trying to record an episode. I am trying to work at figuring out how I can make a live for even like either you if you want to join me, great. We can. I'm trying to figure out how if both of us can join and one of us can do it. I'm trying to set up a live backdrop because I don't want to do it like how Zoom is right now. I
Right.
want us to look nice and professional on if we do decide to do a YouTube live.
Mhm.
And I only want to do it on weekends that if like I'm at Sobble on a Sunday or Sunset on a Sunday where we're not going to talk about that week's action, but it gives me an opportunity to talk about what the frick we've been up to for the last couple
Mhm.
weeks.
Yeah.
Um, and like last weekend at Sunset, we had a freaking blast.
Mhm.
It was a ton of fun going back to Sunset for the Flying Frank 49, which is awesome because that's when Roy Wilkie's first race day vlog was supposed to be back in like May. But because
Right.
of the rain dates, it actually got pushed to that weekend. I'm like, we're going.
Mhm.
And it worked out. We we couldn't ask for better weather.
Mhm.
Um, and of course, hanging out with Roy Wilkie, they were phenomenal as always. Got lots of great footage, and if you guys haven't checked out the full race day vlog, click the link below. And also, I also got to make sure I get the schedule from our guys from Rev TV Canada. Make sure go watch the condensed version. You guys get the extended version on YouTube where you guys can get a nice 22-minute one on and a half-hour time slot on Rev TV Canada. I'm so excited that it's on TV, and it's so weird to
Yeah.
say that that the stuff's on TV,
That's exciting though. Like that's big.
right?
I love it.
It's huge for us, like for
Mhm.
not for me, but for Joe Media's and promotion because
Mhm.
this is something that we've been working towards here behind the scenes. Like when we stop here in a little bit here, Megan, I gotta tell you about like I've been already talking about this. I don't care. We're working on a new concept about me and Brandon Feeney are trying to work out a concept on how to do kind of like a Lost Speedways, but a Canadian version.
Right.
And if we can find a race car from that track that's still complete and not in a junkyard,
Mhm.
we want to get it to that track again and talk to past drivers, past champions. Meanwhile, walking the grounds and seeing if who knows, maybe what we can find. But
Mhm.
talk about the history of the facility. Talk about when it closed down, why it closed down. Like there's we know of we know of one that's in Hamilton, right up
I was just
by the 5
one
drive-in.
car. Yeah.
Um, did you know Paris Speedway hasn't been in racetrack
Mhm. Yeah.
right on the fairgrounds? Technically, there's two now because the horse track is technically not in use anymore.
Right.
But they also have down in the valley where you couldn't really see. There was also a flat track motorcycle track there.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many. Wasaga Beach had a freaking speedway. You can actually access it. It's part of a trail.
I'd like to go there.
The old CN, not the old CNE grounds, the CNE grounds, where BMO Field is. They're right there, right in that vicinity. Richard Petty got his first NASCAR win. Like the track may be gone, but the history is still there.
100%.
You know? And I want to try and bring some of that to life, especially for the Canadian tracks. And like I said, Feeney and I are trying to work on the concept for it to figure out how we're gonna make this work. Who knows? Maybe an hour-long episode could be 30 minutes episodes. We don't know how we're gonna do this yet. But that is something that I want to work with him on, because I want to get one episode done before this season's out. So that way I can work on something. Maybe it's something that I can start filming throughout the summer and then airing through the winter.
Right.
And take my time and really get it correct. And I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be a great concept. I think it'd be great for Canadian motorsports. And who knows, it could take us across the country.
Exactly. I think it'd be cool.
And who knows, maybe we'd have to do these from while I'm in a hotel room in British Columbia trying to find,
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's like I said, we're trying to work on concepts. We're working on deals for next year. I'm going to throw out this a little bit early. If you are interested in joining Jon and Megan Promotions in 2025, we can start talking in September. I'm taking this month, but I will tell you this, guys, right now. November, nothing is happening. I am not talking to no one. If you want to talk to me, just talk about racing. We can talk about racing, but nothing about following year, because at the end of that month, I'm going away on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
I will not be near my phone. And if Jacqueline catches me on my phone trying to make deals, I may get in trouble. But no,
in the corner, like, no,
yeah, I'm gonna be in the corner. It's like, no, I'm not talking to this person. But yesterday was such a long day though at Flamborough, but we had so much fun. So this week you guys will be seeing a double race day vlog. We are making there's actually gonna be like 5 components to this episode because of how much there was. So what you guys are going to see is we're going to have our main race day vlog. We're going to have 2 of them. One for the morning portion and then one for the afternoon portion. Afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it. You guys, but we're also going to compile all the races. So Alexander Klotz will have his 2 heats and then his feature all in one video. Sierra Klotz will have her 2 heats and her feature and all in one video. Ryder will have same deal. And the reason we're doing this is because I was unable to record with a GoPro. And the only reason I wasn't able to record is because the bars are too dang small to attach a GoPro to. So there was no way we were making it work.
Right.
So you guys are going to have, I'm standing up in the backstand grandstand at Flamborough recording this. So if you guys are complaining about a shaky hand, sorry. My arms got tired because Alexander and Sierra ran back to back, and each video was like 8 minutes long.
Oh God.
I don't know. I stood there with my phone for 8 minutes just doing this. Just it was so much. And then we hung out with Mike Gilmore last night. And again, the hospitality we received from that team was second to none. I'm going to be completely honest. And Karen Gilmore makes a mean grilled cheese sandwich. It was the best one I've ever had. I'm going to be honest. Like, I actually ended up having 2. They were so good. But the hospitality we received, like, they were like, hey, if there's any drinks you want, they're in the cooler. If you want, let us know if you want food. We brought this. I'm like, man, this was awesome. It was nice.
Yeah.
We were treated like royalty there.
Yeah.
We were treated like friends and family, and it was really cool of
Mm.
how they treat people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, we're gonna have, and then we're also gonna do a compilation of the complete race day vlog, which will have interviews and talks and stuff like that between everything. And then we're also gonna do Mike Gilmore's night as well at the track. So there's tons of footage. I may not even get to all of it this week, but I told Jacqueline, I'm like, Monday, Tuesday, I'm not doing anything. Like, do not ask me to go for a walk. Do not ask me. I got so much to do this week because there was so much content we caught on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
And of course, I'm very upset
What?
because the GoPro that we used, my GoPro Hero 9, did not record the front view of the car for feature 2. So you guys are gonna get a ride along, but there's gonna be no visuals, unfortunately, of the front of the car. We'll see exactly how Mike drove that car. And he had a hell of a battle. He was leading up front, got a good jump, led a good portion of the race. He wrecked, or he spun, coming off of 2, lost the lead, fell back to 6. Caitlin blew up, which brought out a caution. He wasn't a lap down, so he got back to, and he got into 4th, 5th. Took him 3 wide on the restart, and then held on to 3rd. And it was so cool. He gave a nice big shout out about how Joe Media was there to record a race day vlog, and we're gonna go check it out. That was the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I was it was, he's like, yeah, we got Joe Media back there. He's been filming us all day. Make sure you guys go check him out on Facebook. I'm like, man, this is so cool.
It's awesome.
Oh yeah. But this week's guest on the True North Racing podcast, we got Cory Whittam joining us from the Can-Am Midgets. We're going to talk about how he got involved in racing, why he's racing the midgets, where he wants to go with racing, plus so much more. But before we get into this week's episode with Cory, hear about what vehicle we got coming up in this week's Driving with Hailey Vehicle Spotlight. All right, guys, in this week's Driving with Hailey Vehicle Spotlight, we got a 2022 Chevrolet Trailblazer. These things are really, really nice. Actually, funny enough, my mother-in-law, Andrea, actually has one of them. Yeah, she loves it. She drives to and from work, and it's really nice. They're really nice little vehicles. This one has 53,276 kilometers. It is an all-wheel drive. It's got a 1.3 liter motor. It's actually only 3-cylinder, according to the paperwork here. It's a 4-door, seats 5. It's got a beautiful orange exterior. Definitely, it's a ride that you are going to be noticed for on the road. It is a nice orange color. I love orange. I don't know why. I wore orange shoes in high school for volleyball. I don't know why I'm telling you guys that. But this one's got power driver's seat. It's got keyless ignition, lane departure warning, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You know how important that is. So you can listen to the True North Racing podcast hands-free. It's got heated seats, rear view camera, and his Bluetooth capability. It is, like I said, it's a beautiful looking ride. If you guys are interested in getting set up with this ride, make sure you guys get a hold of Hailey Hill at Driving with Hailey. You guys can find her on Facebook, Instagram. You guys can also give her a shout at 289-808-2828, or you guys can email her at hhill@rightride.ca. Make sure you guys get that, and make sure follow her on Facebook. She loves the show. She loves the program. Go support the people that support us. Give her a follow on Facebook. If you were in the market for a brand new or a new to you vehicle, contact Hailey Hill. She helped me get into my ride. I love it. It's a great vehicle. It gets me to and from the racetrack each week. We got some good things happening with that behind the scenes. But yeah, get a hold of Hailey Hill. She was able to get me into a good ride. It doesn't matter if you got good credit, bad credit, past bankruptcy. She will get you into a ride that suits your needs. Make sure you guys find her on Facebook at Driving with Hailey. Make sure you guys, again, give her a shout, 289-808-2828 or hhill@rightride.ca. Now let's get into this week's episode of the True North Racing Podcast, presented by Driving with Hailey. Joining us this week in our GraphInk Design Studio guest segment, we are joined by the driver of the number 55 in the Can-Am Midgets. We got Cory Whittam joining us. Cory, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad. Just enjoying my Sunday. I'm in the pajamas today.
It does feel like a pajama day, especially with the weather we've been having this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It's actually nice. I got some work done in the shop here today on the Can-Am Midget. Basically, it's ready to go back together. I'm just waiting for some parts to be finished, but yeah.
That's all right. How's your 2024 season been going so far?
It's been going good. Having some fun now. Wasn't really having the greatest of fun at the start of the season. I just I guess I put too much pressure on myself running for points and just trying to afford every race. So, I took some time off and regrouped and just relaxed, and then came back strong at Grand Bend. Was fastest car all night. We had blasts that weekend. Always at Grand Bend. The Herniacs came. So Mike, if you don't know Michael Herniak, he drives the number 15 OSS car. Mike Herniak Mike Herniak Sr. used to run Kaz car, number 75 STP car. But they all came out and helped and supported me that weekend. My parents were there. My daughter and her boyfriend were there, and my wife was there. Just so many people came out to help me and support me that weekend. We had blast coming back. So, the rest of the season's been still good. Like we've had good runs, and last weekend I ran in two different cars and actually rented my car out to Luke Muncie, and he took good care of my car, and he got in a little bit of a tangle on the second feature. It was a doubleheader at Sauble. So, but we're getting it fixed up, and it was just minor damages, just a little bend here and there. But I drove the 91 of Mike Westwood's car on Saturday, and it was a blast driving his car. I'd never driven a full coilover TQ with bump stops on it, so that was interesting to learn how to enter the corner a little different than what my setup is. So then on Sunday I ended up driving for Larry Wilson in the '05 car, and that was just as much of a blast to me. I ran the whole feature in that car with a flat left rear tire.
Oh,
and
geez.
the way that car's set up is you run off the left rear tire, so it's supposed to get hot. But in his data, it said the feature was cold the whole night. So I just couldn't get the drive coming off or through the center. So I just rode around and had some fun, and drove a couple of different cars for experience, and made the best of the weekend. So yeah, the season's been going great so far. I'd like to get the sprint car out, but I'm a little short on funding right now for a motor, so we're at a halt on that. But hopefully by next year we'll have that thing out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I want to jump back to like the very beginning. Where did you get your start in racing, or how did the whole thing start for you?
Oh, geez. I guess when I was born, that's why I'm 70% deaf. The first week I was born, my dad was in a late model, and he won at Sauble. So they actually have a plaque of it with me in the picture as just a little infant. So I think that was pretty cool. But then I started racing go-karts when I was around 5. actually, my dad built a track for us in the backyard when I was 3. I started going around on that as a little dirt track, and I remember when I was 4. I can't forget this. I was riding around on the track, and my dad had a higher horsepower with a motorcycle engine in it. So he comes flying around the corner on the high side and comes down across and drives right over top my legs. It was quite an experience for a 4-year-old.
I can
But
imagine.
I didn't get hurt, so I just kept going and we had fun. But raced go-karts for years in the WRKC, Waterloo Regional Kart Club. At that time, we were running at Bingham's, and then I ran a bit of the OKRA series, which traveled. One of my favorite tracks for the go-karts was when we traveled over and went to Batavia. It was the long front stretch that it had a great big hill on it, and then the one big corner, it just huge banking. It was an awesome track. But that was probably my favorite go-kart track. But I had a lot of fun in the go-karts, and then I actually sat out for years in racing, and then picked it up. Years later, I started racing downhill bicycles, and
Those are fun.
I thought
It
they'd
looks
be
like fun
cheaper to
anyways.
run, but turned out they weren't. So my dad saw me struggling with that, so he ended up saying to me the one day, "Do you want to buy a Hurricane Midget?" So I said, "Sure, why not?" So we started running the Hurricane Midgets, me and my brother Jamie. And he was number 66. I was 55. That was back 2011. We started there, and that was basically my first time on the big oval tracks, and had a blast doing that. But I found I was always coming off the track and had bruises all over me because those cars didn't have suspension. But it was still fun. You just got used to it. But
I mean, that's usually the case.
then I put that up for sale, and I ended up having a guy wanting to trade for a TQ. He said he didn't want the TQ, and then he wanted to trade and start running a Hurricane. So we traded everything we had, and the car needed some updates at the time, like the motor. It was the older style motor, so I tried to make it work, and I ran around the back for about a year, and then got a new motor, but it wasn't like it was just right out of the bike. So we run motorcycle engines, right?
Yeah.
6R 750s. So I bought the motor and just threw it right in the car and didn't really know what I was doing. And I had a few guys help me on and off. And finally, 2017, Jim Hickson and Carrie Hickson came along, and they helped me out. They did some tuning to my motor. They told me it was blown. I was running the blown motor, and they fixed it up for me. And I went out to the next race. It was at Grand Bend, and I took off on the field. We had a last lap caution for a spin, and when we went green again, I took off, and then I had a full straightaway lead by the end of the green white checkered. So the car was just moving that night, and I had a blast. At the Herniak Hall Motorsports team, they were there, and my wife was there, and her dad Howie was there, and we partied till the the sun come up that night. It was amazing. But there's a story about the herniacs.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So the day before I met Mike Herniak, I was in a hurricane. I think it was 2013, and I went up on the Friday night before practice or before race, and I was practicing, and I didn't have everything set right in the car. I didn't know a heck of a lot back then, so I didn't have everything set right, and stuff was binding up when I steered to the right. So I went into the old turn one at Grand Bend, and I got sideways, so I steered right, and my steering locked up. So I went straight up into the wall, and I ended up getting knocked out. And I woke up to Cody Wiles, who drives number 14 Super Stock at Delaware.
Yep, and Joe Media
So,
driver as well.
Yep, yeah, you know Cody.
Yep.
So Cody woke me up actually, and Brad Clark back then, he told me off the track, and so I spent all night working on the car to get it fixed. Pretty much everything was broken. Motor mounts, the clutches were broke. Every hydraulic joint in the car was broke. I hit real hard.
Jeez.
So I ended up driving home that night and driving back with parts. And I fixed the car up as much as I could. I didn't have a brand new axle, so I bent the old one back as good as I could. So I got cobbled back together for Saturday, and Saturday Saturday morning comes along, and I'm working on the car, and this guy comes up to me, and it was about race time. It was just after practice at that time. And he says, "Do you know who I am?" And I looked at him, and I said, "Nope." And I went back to working on my car. So then he come up to me later, and he explained who he was, and he said he was Mike Herniak Sr. And right then I just went, "Oh, really? You're Mike?" So at that point, he told me the story where I kept him up all night, and he wasn't too happy. But then he noticed that I was just another racer struggling to get the car back together. So he realized that was happening, and he let me, he wasn't mad no more. So that ended up being a great weekend. I met Cody Wilds, Jason Wilds, the whole family. I met the whole Herniak family. It was a great weekend in the Hurricanes at that time. But pretty much every weekend I ever go to Grand Bend, we always have a great time. It's we always camp too. It's always fun there. There's a lot of stories, but they're maybe they're uncensored here.
Well, we can talk about those off air, okay? That's awesome how you started off very, very young in this motorsports world. And it obviously, how fun is it to be running one of those TQ midgets? Because they do look like a blast to be driving around there.
Oh, it is a blast. That's why I do it. And well, it's actually one of the cheapest cars I can find to run. I don't need an engine hoist. I can put, got blocks instead of expensive stands, and it doesn't need all the expensive tools. I've learned to build the motor parts myself. I've learned to weld everything myself, and I've made it as cheap as I can, and I still spend quite a bit of money. But
hey, racing ain't cheap.
Yeah, it's what I could afford.
Yeah.
Like somebody else, runs mini stocks. It's probably what they're used to, and that's what they can afford. But
Yeah.
I've always ran open wheel, and I just love it. And like I've had a couple chances in different stock cars. Like I ran about 50 laps for Mike Herniak Senior in his late model back. Well, that was like 2015, but we did a practice day with that, and that was a blast. I loved it. I found I couldn't see. I could only see out the front, so and out the mirrors, but I'm not really used to mirrors, so
Yeah.
we don't run mirrors on the TQ. We don't run two-way radios. We just run one way. The
The track radio.
Yeah, the track
Yeah.
radio. So, but no, it's a very exciting club. Like we're we're very professional at what we do.
I agree with that. 100%.
And we show up and we do put on a show. Like sometimes we get four wide in the corners, down the straights. And
Wait.
we punch wheels. Some
You-
guys go airborne.
Wait,
But we're
you're
always
telling me you guys
okay.
don't do for the four-way, the four wide just on the pace lap?
So yeah, we do that during green too. Sometimes
Depends on the
near the
track.
end of the season, you'll see that more. But no, at Grand Bend, I believe we went four wide.
I can see that at Grand Bend.
Yeah, and then
It's a tight track, but pretty wide, it looks like.
yeah, it like a lot of guys say it's really small. Like you can't drive most cars on it. But the way I see it is it's really wide. You got the same amount of lanes. It might be small, but a driver that can get through the corner better is going to be the guy that shines.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
That's basically, they call it a driver's track. Like a guy that can drive can win there. Maybe not every night, but
So why don't you tell us a little bit about that sprint car that's sitting behind you and how you came about acquiring that?
oh, well, I've always dreamed about them,
I mean,
but
they're beautiful rides.
I never thought I'd own one actually. But now I own two. But one's a roller. I own two chassis, and this is the one that I'm building to start with. And it's not. I'm not sure exactly what motor I'm going to put in it yet, but I'd like to go with the 360. But that's quite a bit of cash to keep up with.
Yep.
If I can get my hands on a nice crate motor, then we'll go with that and see where we start and see if I like it. Because if I don't even like the switch to the dirt, then I can always sell the car and
Yep.
go back TQ racing, and I'm never gonna sell that car. So if anybody's interested, it's not
That
up for
55
sale.
is not for sale.
No, but hopefully, someday soon we'll get that thing out, maybe on the dirt or maybe on the asphalt. But we'll see.
Sprint cars on asphalt are always entertaining.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
I remember when
it's
we
so
were
weird.
kids, we used to my dad would take us to Delaware,
Yep.
and they run the sprint cars that come up from the States, and man, they were so fast that you can take, like, we'd stand at the end of the pit lane behind the pit wall,
Yep.
and the wind coming off the cars, and like they were coming at you so quick you couldn't take your eyes off the straightaway. It was just
It
they
was
were so
nuts.
quick. They're nuts there. Like
My that's one of the first divisions I ever actually saw race. My mom knew a guy when she worked for Choice Hotels Canada back when I was a little kid, and one of their IT guys was a race car driver and had a asphalt sprint car. And we met up with him one night at Flamborough after the races, and we watched him at the track that night, and it was a blast watching them because they're just nuts. They're first of all, sprint cars are already a different freaking animal. We see that week in and week out. Thankfully for G-Force, be able to bring us that coverage. But taking that car and bringing it onto asphalt, dumbest thing ever, but it's the most exciting thing ever.
And I hear they're running them at Grand Bend full time next year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So if there's any drivers in the Grand Bend area who would like to work with Drone Medias and Promotions, we can talk in September about packages that can get my butt up to Grand Bend.
Yeah,
Just putting out a feeler to
exciting.
anyone who's interested.
I hear there's already drivers signed up, ready to go
Yeah.
with cars. And I've seen a couple of the cars that are getting built. Gord Bennett showed me them.
Yeah.
So he's the owner of the track. But
They look like so much fun.
He's got a lot of exciting things going on there. Like he's got the go-karts, like when we went there, a few weeks back, and then last year when we went there, my daughter had a blast riding around on the go-karts. She actually beat her boyfriend, which was pretty cool.
Oh no.
But
Oh boy.
he beat her one race, and then she beat her the second race, or she beat him the second race. But she took off with it. She was like a lap ahead.
Awesome.
I love that Grand Bend Speedway has opened up the track to more opportunities such as this to be able to go out, run go-karts on the big track. I think
Yeah,
that is a phenomenal idea.
I think it's an experience for anybody that's never been on a big track. Like,
Yeah.
if you've been on a go-kart track, this is a lot bigger than a go-kart track. You got
Oh yeah.
a lot more room on this.
And I think for the racers, like that, I feel like you might have a little bit more bragging rights when you go out there and whoop your kids or something like that. Like when they go like, I could beat you in go-karts. All right, let's go. We're going to Grand Bend and you watch me. I'm a professional race car driver.
Yeah, and then my kid beats me. That's why I won't go on, just in case she does.
You just got to spin them right off the hop. You make sure you're behind them and get a good jump.
Oh,
Pump 'em,
gotta
then
go
you're
dirty,
good.
eh?
When you're having fun on go-karts, it ain't dirty. It's just showing them who's boss.
It is fun when you get a bunch of guys and you go out and you stick to one pack and you just do a little beat and bang, and not too much, but you want to wreck the go-karts.
Oh yeah. I've yet to wreck a go-kart, thankfully. But me and Michael Kenny, RJ Croto, we used to go down with a few of other buddies down to 401 Mini Indy in Toronto. Because
Okay,
on Wednesday nights it was all you can race for like $30
oh wow,
from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m.
that's cool.
So I showed up got there right at 7. They all showed up at like 7:30. I already put in like 25 laps by the time they got there. But we would always, when we got out there, the same group, we're going double file. And there's a start finish line, and we're using that. And we made sure like we stuck to it. We had great battles. And when you get good people to go-karting with, it's a ton of fun.
Oh, it is. We used to do the rentals with our clubs, and
Yep.
a bunch of us old go-kart racers that hadn't seen each other in like 10, 15 years. We all got together, and like, thank God there's stuff like Facebook these days. Like, like you
In
can
touch
keep
with
in
them.
contact with, you find anybody that you know the name of, really.
Yep.
But when I was a kid, I didn't have that. Like, we looked at paper maps, and Yeah. I find that you find more places when you look at a paper map too. Like, you know, sometimes you just go by the compass.
Yeah.
Just you find your way that way.
Oh yeah. Well, you never know what you're gonna find. It's like now when we look for stuff because of the internet, we're just looking for specific things.
Yeah.
We're not just driving and then coming across like today. To be fair, I found something really cool today on my way back from Barrie. We took a back road and uh
The
came,
back roads are it.
yeah, and we came across the Edenville Aerodome. I think that's what it was called. And apparently
Okay.
it has a replica Avro Arrow. Now, of course, I read the sign backwards, so I think that's what I read, but it looked like an Avro Arrow was on the billboard. But they have a replica one there. I didn't get a chance to see it because we drove
Wow.
by it really quick. Right? But
Wow.
it's because the route we took home. Because I said to Jacqueline, like, hey, 400, it's going to get us home in an hour and 15 minutes, but there's a lot of stop and go traffic. Or we take the back roads and we take our time getting home, and it'll be about 2 hours, 15 minutes difference compared to one time to the other. But I will probably be in a much better mood if we take the back roads.
Yep.
And
Yeah. I always take the
we
back
came across
roads.
that.
It saves gas too. You know,
Yep.
if you're light on the throttle and
Yep.
but
That's all that matters right now is especially with gas prices the way they are. We got to be light on the throttle.
oh yeah, like it's ridiculous. It costs a lot to get to the track with
Oh
the
yeah.
trailer. I usually actually I tend to go up the night before through the night. Like I'll leave at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and we'll go up through the night. No traffic, so no stop and goes. So
Yeah.
we just cruise down the back roads. I go right on the speed limit, so I save the most gas. And like when I go to Sabo, like I live in Norfolk County, and I got to go all the way to Bruce County. It's about a 3.5 hour trip for me. So I uh, I only use about 3/8 of a tank, less than a half a tank
Oh,
to
that's not
get
bad.
there and back, and that's just driving through the night. And it's better air, you know, better on the motor. But you know, I even take that into consideration when, you know, saving up for sprint car stuff. You know, you gotta save every penny when you need to, right?
If I can save a little bit here, that's that little bit extra I could put into the sprint car.
Exactly. But you always gotta put it in the family too. But
Yeah.
like family, without family, there would be no fun. So
Yep.
you gotta have family, you gotta have somebody to enjoy the fun with.
Exactly.
Luckily, I got a good supporting family. My mom and my dad actually they support me enough that they're coming out to the track every weekend. My mom bought a special camera. She does the photography for our club.
Oh, that's awesome.
So she's one of the ladies down there taking pictures of all the cars. And then my dad, he's got one of the Razor side by sides.
Yep.
So me and him built a attachment on the back to lift up the back of cars, and it's got a winch on there. He just hits a button that lifts up the back of
Yep.
cars if they're broken.
That's the one that the club uses, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
okay, so I've seen that in
that's my
action.
dad. He tows all the cars off.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
he put special lights on it and stickers all over it for the club. And he was all excited to do it. It's really nice the kind of support that my family has. Like, I guess it helps. I'm a third generation driver. Like my mom and my dad drove race cars. My grandpa, my grandma, my uncle,
Wow.
my cousins. We've all we've all been into racing. My brother's raced quite a bit at oval tracks actually, and go karts as well. But yeah, I
That's
come
awesome.
from a racing family, so it helps that they know what the sport's about.
They
Some people
understand
don't.
the addiction.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they understand that sometimes I just can't make it to an event.
Yep.
But no, at the end of the day, without your family, you know, you got nothing.
Yep.
Uh,
You got that
That's
right.
how I see it. Not every family can get along, but
Mhm.
I don't always get along with my mom, but but I love her to death, and she she does everything to support me. I'm her baby. So,
That's
uh,
awesome.
yeah.
Um, before we continue on here, I want to get into our tailored to you media and design fan question period. It was so late because today was a crap shoot for me because I went up to Barrie, and where I went to, there was no cell service. So when I sent you a message confirming if you were coming on, I sent that at like 12:30, 1 o'clock. And it didn't get to Cory until 5:30 tonight.
Oh, really?
So I sent it hours in advance. So I didn't even get a chance to put out our fan question period until like 7 o'clock here tonight. Usually I have it out at noon. But if I had sent like I thought it did, because I just sent and then closed my phone. I didn't even
I
go back,
actually forgot it
nothing.
was today too. I was thinking about it today, and then like, well, maybe I better start cleaning up this garage a bit. But and then I seen the message, and I'm like, no way, it is today. I looked at the date. I lose track of the date sometimes.
I feel you. I'm just
Yeah.
glad we are able to make it work. We're able to bring you on. But we were able to get a couple of questions though for you. Are you ready to answer them?
I hope so.
Megan, take it away.
All right. We have two questions from William_Trillium. His first one is, why did you choose your number?
Number 55. Actually, Dave Franks calls me double nickel. So back, I told you I was going to Delaware to watch the sprint cars.
Yep.
There was a number 55 that was wild behind the wheel, and red's my favorite color. His car was completely red, and it was the only car that was red that night. And I fell in love with the number 55 at that point. Like I've always kind of liked it, but watching that guy, I liked the number, and then over the years, it became my number. Like um, you add 5 and 5, it's number 10, and that's actually the number that I started out with in the go-kart, and that's actually my dad's old race car number. That's one of my favorite numbers too, number 10. But my I guess my favorite number is 55. But yeah, it's always kind of been, favorite number to me. It just looks cool, I guess.
It really does.
It does.
Especially when you're
But
out on track there. I could see that 55 from a mile away, and it's just like, there's Cory right there.
yeah, yeah, I try to make it flashy. Well, a lot of people, when I was driving for the first few years, a lot of people would say at nighttime, "Oh, we can't see your car." But it was black, and most of the cars were black at the time, so they couldn't point me out. We were flying by so quick. So I spent some money last year, and well, I spent some money. I got a good deal, but Creative Edge ended up coming up with a really cool design for me, and the colors, like the color combo, it's right on. Like
Oh yeah.
it won best appearing car last year, so it's doing something good. But now everybody says we know where that 55 is.
Yep.
So it's nice. It's nice that you can, have that. But yeah, the car, it doesn't take much to decal this car. Like, it doesn't take much material. Like,
No. Which is
like
nice.
that's another cost that you can save on for paint, for material. So that our cars are one of the cheapest to run, actually. The motor's pretty much all stock, so that makes it a lot cheaper. We got one tire night rule, that makes it cheap, and it's cheap emissions, and we just go out and have fun. But yeah.
Awesome. And his second question is, what is your favorite track to race at?
I bet you could guess. It's definitely Grand Bend. Always have a good time there, even if I break bones. I broke 3 ribs there back, actually, the night that I met Mike Herniak, and where I wrecked, and Cody Wild. So even if it's a bad night or good night, we always make the best of it. And it's just, there's the beach right there, there's the road course right there, there's the drag strip right there, there's a drive-in movie theater down the street that's really cool. Grand Bend's just got all different surprises. It's a fun place to go to. Like, the track, I love that you're always turning on the track. A lot of guys don't like that, but the whole front stretch, that D, like, our cars are sliding the whole way down, and some guys have to lift. Like, if you're not set up quite right, you got to lift on the throttle a little bit getting around there.
Yeah.
But it's a blast getting around that track. The consistent turning, it's just fun. Like, we're basically going the speed we would on a big track, but turning the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much definitely my favorite track. I have a lot of success at Flamborough. I win there a lot. The one year I got into the lead on lap 4 or 5, and I started in like 6th or 7th, and then I spun myself out. I went over something on the track. You could see it in the video. There was a spark. So I spun out going into turn 1, and I did full 360, kept going, but they threw out the caution at that point. So I had to go to the back because I caused the caution.
Yeah.
So I worked my way back up all through the field, and by lap 24, like the last lap, I made it back into the lead and won the race. That was an exciting night, because when I do stuff like spin myself out, I'm a little hard on myself sometimes. I get really upset with myself. So some people say that helps me, that I drive better, but I just, I've always got that mindset that, we're into racing. We're trying to get, every single one of us is trying to get to the front.
Yeah.
We all want that lead. So that's what I always tell myself when you're racing. Just always get to the front. If you can't do it, you can't do it. I got the car to do it sometimes. But I've also driven these Can-Am Midgets for a while now. Like, I'm racing against a lot of guys that haven't got the experience that I have.
Yeah.
So that helps. You know, it didn't come easy winning races, but those guys will get there too. You know,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I find it takes time, it takes effort, and you gotta learn. You gotta be willing to learn.
yeah,
A lot of people, you can drive fast, but it's understanding braking, it's understanding turning, it's understanding what your car needs to drive better.
you
And
learn something every night, every time you go to the track.
Mhm.
if you
Even if you
don't, you're
just
not
go
doing
to
it right.
watch, you're gonna learn something.
Oh yeah. And
I
even a single race, you probably learn a ton.
yes, yes.
Watching other competitors.
You like if you've never raced in a club before, and you go to the first race, you start learning every driver that is driving around you. You start learning how that car drives. Like every time you come out, you learn more, 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 more. Like I'm still learning with my TQ.
Oh yeah.
There's still stuff I'm YouTubing. There's still stuff I'm calling old guys that don't race in the club anymore. There's still stuff like there's a lot to learn, and you're never gonna know it all. And if you
Yeah.
think you do, then you just got beat. So
Oh yeah.
that's that's one great part about racing is, well, I guess bad part because I guess it's kind of an addiction.
It is an addiction. Hell, I wanted to get out of it in 2019.
But it's a good
6 years
addiction.
later,
When
here I am doing this.
yep, yep. Well, everybody like that asks me, why do you spend all your money into racing? And I said, I say, do I want to, put all my money into racing, or do I want to put it into to going to Mexico every year? Do I want to put it into a classic car? Everybody wants something different.
Yep.
You know, some people choose to go down the wrong path and put all their money into drugs and alcohol, but I try and stay away from most alcohol. But um, no, racing it's expensive like any other sport, and
Oh yeah.
and you want to play baseball, go ahead. Try and get into it. See what kind of money you spend. You might spend a little bit less than this, but you're spending a lot of money in any kind of sport these days.
Oh yeah. And nothing's cheap. Like it's like traveling. Traveling is expensive.
Yeah.
Like
Yep,
you,
traveling and uh, a lot of people, it's hard to make the schedules around their work times.
oh yeah.
So, like a lot of kids miss opportunities because their parents just can't make it to the track.
Yeah.
So it's a tough sport, and every sport's tough,
Oh
right?
yeah. Hockey,
So
baseball, basketball, soccer, for all of it. Like if you're not, I find it's the every other sport, every sport nowadays, especially for kids, is a full-time job for adults, is a second full-time job for adults.
Mhm.
Make sure you get to the games, make sure you get to the tournaments, and then you're spending $300 on a 300, 400, $500, depending on where y'all are staying, for a hotel room.
I
And
sleep in the back of my truck.
and that's probably the best thing to do. Hell, I
I
mean,
got
to
a,
be
a
fair,
little AC that I made for it, and a bed in it, this little single mattress. Me and the dogs and my wife sleep back there, and
nothing
it
wrong with
works.
it. Hell
It
yeah.
saves a lot of money.
Like my wife and I, we talk about grabbing ourselves a single camper to that will sleep 4 to 5 people, because I also have 2 kids, and it's like on race weekends, like let's just take it, unless it's a really short drive. Like for us, Flamborough and Sunset are very short drives. If we're going to Delaware, Sauble or Peterborough, let's take it.
Yep,
Set up shop at the track for the night, go home the next day. Then none of
yep,
us are hurting. None of us are killing ourselves or anything like that.
yep, yep.
You know,
Yeah, the only thing that sleeping in a camper all weekend is, if you don't have a shower in there, you
Yeah,
might not have a shower all weekend, but when you're at Grand Bend or Sable, you can always jump down in the lake,
exactly.
just rinse off.
Exactly. That's all you need sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I've done that before.
Hey,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it. Um, well, Cory, it has been an absolute blast having you on for the last little bit here. Um, over the next few minutes here, I do want to give you some time to thank your sponsors, thank your friends, family, whoever you want to. You can thank your great grandparents from like 6 generations ago who you didn't
I
you had no thought
unfortunately
of.
don't know who they are, but
um, why don't
we
you tell
do
us?
have a picture of 5 generations altogether, though.
Holy crap!
Wow.
That
When my niece was first born.
wow, that's insane.
Hmm?
Um, but yeah, for the next few minutes here, let us know where your next race is. Let us know what the rest of your schedule's like. Thank your sponsors, your friends, your family, whoever you want like to. Floor is all yours, undisturbed for the next few minutes.
Okay. I guess my next race is the Sunset this weekend coming up. Um, and then where's my schedule? We got August 24th at Flamborough, and then September 21st at Flamborough is the final race. So um, I'm planning on making it to all three last races, um, but we'll see how it goes. And uh, yeah,
All right.
so uh, the sprint car. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have it out next year, I hope. But so my sponsors, um, they're not basically my sponsors. They're mainly kind of family, but I call Motorsports. I'll lift the camera over there here. So these guys right here do a lot for me. I consider them family. They're just great people. We've had amazing times together. Uh, while it's printing, they've helped me out tons over the years. Um, Stickers and scuffs, they've helped me out.
Great
Coleman
guys came and
Racing.
graded.
So Mike Coleman, comes and helps me out at track. He owns Southern Ontario Power Washing. He'll clean the side of your house, your deck, whatever you want cleaned. And then I got Schwiegen over here. They gave us a 4-wheeler for our club. It was really nice. And I always gotta thank the photographers. You know, there's too many to name them all, but they come out every year and help us drivers, get seen.
Oh yeah.
You know, Miller Office Trailers, they help out the club. Um, who else do I got on here? Creative Edge. They did my wrap. It looks so good. So we got, where is it here? Ecotech. So One Stop Lube is owned by my buddy Maurizio, and he comes out to track. He puts his work gloves on. And he helps me. He does everything he can. He sponsored me for a number of years. Great guy. He runs the OSS club. He's the club president. Also got to thank my wife. She's always helping me with the racing, always helping me with everything. My parents, my daughter, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, they all support me well. everybody in the Can-Am club that comes out and spends their own gas to get to the track and helps out the club. And thanks to all the tracks. There's a lot more thank yous that I probably forgot, but I think those were the main ones, at least.
Sounds good, man. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on this week for the True North Racing podcast presented by Driving with Hailey.
Thank you for having me on your show.
No problem. It's like I said, it's been a blast having you. You're actually a guy I've wanted to get on for quite a little bit, but whenever I've been making my schedules and reaching out to people and people have reached out to me, it just never worked out until like a month and a half ago. I'm like, oh, I should probably look at getting some more guests lined up here. And then you were my first thought. I was like, got to get you on. And we finally got you. So you did not disappoint at all. I was so thankful to have you on. You're one of the guys I love the TQ Midgets. My wife loves the TQ Midgets. To be fair, we love them at Flamborough because Cam Thompson's up in the tower flagging and we can't keep our damn
Good job.
We can't watch you guys when Cam's up in the up there because he just does a fantastic job up there.
He makes sure I get the double checker.
He really does. He does like I said, he does a great job. Not only is he a great driver behind the wheel, he's a great flagman as well. He's learned from some great people. But you said you guys are back at Flamborough in September, right?
Yes. September 21st is the last race.
Damn it. Damn it, I won't be there. That's the one weekend I'd have off of racing, and the only reason I can't go is because it's my kid's birthday.
Well, maybe Pedal Power will be there and videotaping.
I'm sure they will.
You can see it on YouTube.
I watched you guys back in June when you guys were up at Sobel, so I was happy to get my fix of Can-Am Midget racing this year from watching you guys when I was at the beach earlier this year. But yeah, man, good luck the rest of the season. It's been a blast having you, and thank you for joining us this week on the True North Racing podcast.
Thanks, buddy.
And we're back from our conversation with Cory Whittam. That was a lot of fun. We learned a lot about Cory, his racing ventures. I didn't get to some of the questions I wanted to, but that's okay because when drivers like him have stories and want to talk, no reason for us to interrupt.
No, I want to hear the story.
Exactly. That's what we're here for. We want to hear the stories. People don't want to hear us talk. I'm sure they've already tuned out by now. I'm sure there's no one listening at this point in the show. But if you are, let me know in the comments.
I'm used to being tuned out.
Write pizza in the comments to let me know you've listened this far in the show. And who knows? It's my favorite. I don't know why actually we all know why I picked pizza. That's my favorite damn food in the world. This weekend, Megan, when people are listening to this, you're racing the Gold Rush at Flamborough.
I am.
It's a short turnaround this week.
Oh yeah.
Are the cars ready to go?
No.
Well, you got a day and a bit. I hope you guys took Tuesday and Wednesday or Monday, Tuesday off to get them ready.
Chase and my dad do. They have to put a new rear end in Rachel's car, so.
Oh, jeez.
It'll get done tomorrow.
It'll get done tomorrow.
And we just cross our fingers that that's all we find.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. I hope.
We'll be so there too.
We will be there, all four.
And then you'll be racing again this coming Saturday as well. Do you have any off weekends between now and the end of the season? When?
The weekend before championship night. And then we have championship night and then we have Frostfest. I know, right? It doesn't really count to me, but.
Are you guys running Frosttoberfest this year?
Yeah.
Nice.
We have
to fun.
Perfect attendance. So that's my driving force behind that.
I don't agree with that, but that's my own opinion.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything.
As I have said on the program, I will not be at the racetrack for the next 2 weekends. So once I get these race day vlogs out, it's going to be just podcast and getting a couple of the articles out on joemedia.ca. But it's getting close to our time. Thank you, Megan, for coming back. We've missed you on the show. Obviously, we only have a few more episodes left in the year. And then, of course, you know what? I don't know if I've announced it or not, but what the hell? What are we to lose? In October, the driver's seat will return for a special, probably hour and a half. Maybe we'll make it hour and a half, hour at least, program with Caitlin and Megan rejoining as hosts. And we are going to go over their 2024 seasons. I've already started working on the script on this. Perfect. Your show, I will work on a script. This show, no, I fly by the seat of my pants on this one.
I always needed a script for that one.
We always need a script.
We didn't always follow it, but
you got that right. Squirrel every 5 seconds. But we are coming back with a special 1 episode of the driver's seat. We are going to see if this works again, and maybe we'll work on the concept of bringing it back in 2025. Would be a lot of fun. But I want to see how it goes and see if we can make this work and have fun with it and bring it back full time. And of course, we're always looking for marketing partners. So if you want to jump on for this episode, please let me know. Email us at jomopromos@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Shoot us a message. Talk to us. We'll figure out how to get the driver's seat back on for 2025 full time. I'm sure it would be great to have driver's perspectives once again in a specialty podcast here in Ontario. But I said that we are going to keep this short and sweet, but I kind of ruined this already. But yeah, I will be back at Flamborough Speedway on August 31st. We'll highlight that all in the next couple weeks here. We'll talk about that, what we guys can expect from there. Well, next weekend we're gonna have 2 races to cover with Megan, so we'll have lots to talk about. Gold Rush on Tuesday and Saturday night action at Flamborough. How you've had 3 races in 7 days, and we'll talk about how that was.
And meet the driver's night.
Next weekend. I wish I was coming. I wish I was coming. My GoPro's ready to go. It's I love Meet the Driver's Night because I wear that GoPro on the head. It's just it's so much fun. It is so much fun. But thank you to our partners, Driving with Hailey, for bringing us our podcast, GraphInk Design Studios, Taylor T Media Designs, and of course JPEP and over at Peps Pro Painting for all they do for the program. We thank you guys from the bottom of our heart. Make sure you guys follow MRC Racing on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you guys also follow Joe Media and Promotions on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. MRC Racing is also on TikTok. I don't want to forget about that. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week of the True North Racing Podcast presented by Driving with Hailey. For Megan Mitchell, I'm John Morrison. We'll see y'all next time. Bye now.
See ya.
Smell the gas and feel the vibe, going into overdrive. Drop the flag, then the car zooming by. Hey, True North Racing, let's go.